So you seriously think you're gonna be able to watch till the end? I don't think you are. Welcome back to another video. I have gone into one of my longest searches ever to find the darkest conspiracies that you may not be aware of.
The most toxic food in the world, and we're still buying it. Farmed salmon. Worse than McDonald's. This is crazy. New reports coming out that worse than Taco Bell, worse than McDonald's, farmed salmon. This is salmon that you're buying at the grocery store. You're eating at restaurants, which is why when you go to a restaurant, you've got to ask, is this farmed salmon? Because it's toxic. It may taste great. It may be expensive. There's restaurants that have salmon on their menu where they're charging $20, $30, $40, $50 plus dollars, and it's farmed salmon. Yes, it has omega-3s, high in omega-3s. Still very, very toxic. New reports. This is not just like a one-time thing. Many reports and scientific documents showing that this is the reality of things, is that we need to take a step back and think about what we're eating. So there might be a restaurant that you're thinking about going to, or you're considering, you're at Costco or Sam's Club, and you're like, oh, wow, look at the deal on this. But you've got to make sure you see this is very important. You do not want your children eating food like this. I mean, it's obvious that when you go, that if someone goes to a McDonald's type place, which by the way, I haven't been in, a decade, that you're consuming something that you shouldn't. Bad for you, right? People are aware with alcohol. That's why alcohol sales are way low. But something like farmed salmon, this is something you've got to tell. Make sure you share this with people that you love. This is very important information. You do not want people not knowing this. I share this information with everybody I possibly can. Make sure this follow button so we see each other again. This is part of our ongoing series. What's your take? Did you already know this? And what do you think's number 2? If farmed salmon's number 1, what's number 2? I'd love to hear what you have to say. This is part of our ongoing series, and I'll talk to you soon.
Was Greta Thunberg abused or tortured? Well, today she and 170 other activists detained by Israel were released. And in Greta's first remarks to the press, she said this.
And I could talk for a very, very long time about our mistreatment and abuses in our imprisonment, trust me, but that is not the story.
You see, about 2 days ago, one of the Turkish activists on board, who was also detained, claimed they dragged little Greta by her hair before our eyes, beat her and forced her to kiss the Israeli flag. They did everything imaginable to her as a warning to others. Another individual who was on the flotilla, who is a journalist, claimed that Greta was wrapped in the Israeli flag and paraded like a trophy. Also, according to an email sent by the Swedish Foreign Ministry, an official who had visited Greta in prison claimed that she was detained in a cell infested with bedbugs with too little food and water. Now, Israel have responded to these accusations, calling them fake news, and that all the legal rights of the participants in this PR stunt were and will continue to be fully upheld. So far, Israel has released 341 people who were on board the 42 boats, while another 138 activists still remain in detention in...
For you guys that are watching, do you guys know who she is? I remember seeing her a couple of years ago. She was an activist of some sort. Don't remember exactly about her that much, but wow, if she really went through that, who knows? Some are claiming it's true, some are saying it's false, but if she genuinely went through that, first of all, why isn't there an official statement? But if that's true, wow, we need to do something about this.
If you have ever ate this chicken from Costco, you might have salmonella. And I'm not kidding. They're literally getting sued right now for millions of dollars because they tested their chicken. There was a positive result on salmonella in their chicken. That's freaking disgusting. I don't know about you guys, but I literally eat it all the time in college and I'm so scared. But yeah, I literally filed for this lawsuit on the cleanmoney.com website. Right here, it literally took 2 seconds. I'm literally gonna get money from this in compensation for eating their chicken and maybe getting salmonella. That's literally disgusting.
Creepy real photos that keep me up at night part 85. This photo was posted to Reddit with the caption, "My mom's goddaughter has been telling us about how she keeps feeling a presence in her apartment and she can see a dark figure out of the corner of her eye often, especially when being alone at home." Well, she took a pic in her room and this is what she caught. Follow for more creepy real photos.
So for some reason, it's become a trend to do the most unhinged dance, and it's called the sea lion. If you haven't heard, kids are doing this during class and are even doing it out in public. The dance originated from this viral video of a seal jumping up and down, so people thought it would be a good idea to replicate it. Now kids are doing this everywhere they go, and people are saying it just looks insanely wrong. I mean, it's bad when grown adults are now getting involved. Not to mention, the seal dance has many variations, but of course people chose to do the most out-of-pocket one. All I know is if you do this dance, your digital footprint will haunt you forever.
This is actually insane, but does everybody obviously remember that comet that everybody was losing their minds over, 3i Atlas? They're now saying that Comet 3i Atlas is only 8 days away from a Jupiter flyby that could literally crack it open. So NASA just officially pointed not only just the James Webb Space Telescope, but also Hubble and multiple Mars spacecraft at 3i Atlas. And they just confirmed that the comet is actually carrying water ice from another star, and it behaves identically to ours. They're saying that it not only has the same molecular bonds, but the same chemistry, the same everything else in between. That may officially mean that the ingredients for life are not unique to our solar system. They're possibly everywhere. Now, this is why the entire thing is about to get crazier, because on March the 16th, the comet is going to pass directly within 33 million miles of Jupiter. This will be a close enough pass for Jupiter's gravity to possibly fracture the nucleus and potentially crack it wide open, revealing what's actually inside the rock. NASA's Juno spacecraft is still orbiting Jupiter right now, and it might pass directly close enough to be able to capture the entire thing. So we're going to be able to see it. Guys, you need to make sure that you go ahead and add me on my page right now, because I'm going to post the moment and the very second that the results come in, whether they find something or not.
Is this plastic surgery a clone or a marketing stunt? Honestly, I feel bad if it was option one. I know I'm late, but let's talk about the whole Jim Carrey situation. I want to hear your thoughts. If you live under a rock and don't know what I'm talking about, Jim Carrey showed up to the 51st Caesar Awards in Paris, and people immediately felt like something was off. And not just the way he looked, but the way he was acting.
I wrote it and I researched it and I practiced it like crazy. But
the internet started spiraling. People became convinced it wasn't actually him, and that a clone or a body double showed up instead. I feel like if it was a clone, it would look a lot more exact, because they would want to avoid attention and suspicion. Then makeup artist Alexis Stone, who's known for extreme prosthetics and celebrity transformations, posted these photos implying that they were the one at the event. But I think they were just hopping on a trending moment, because there hasn't been any further proof. Some people believe it really was Jim Carrey, but that he was wearing prosthetics himself, either as a statement about plastic surgery and Hollywood vanity, or as a way to hint at a possible remake or sequel to The Mask. There's also other people that believe he's been brainwashed and just turned into a Hollywood propaganda machine. It's spiraling. What we do know for sure is that both Jim Carrey's team and the award show confirmed that he was physically there. So maybe he's just had work done? People find it hard to believe because of things he said in the past, and the way that he's distanced himself from the spotlight.
There's no meaning to any of this. So I wanted to find the most meaningless thing that I could come to and join. And here I am. There is no me.
There's no you.
No.
We're not here. This is a dream?
There's just things happening.
It doesn't line up with how he's talked about Hollywood for years.
Kidnapping children is not what great nations do. We in America are misinformed. Reality shows have warped our idea of what a hero is, or what the truth is.
Now that the buzz has died down a little, let me know what you guys think is really going on in the comments.
Well, the woman who fired at Rihanna's home has made a plethora of videos in the past, despising Rihanna, hating on Rihanna, and spiritually speaking some crazy things about Rihanna. Let's get into it. So the woman who fired at Rihanna's home has been identified as Ivana Lisset Ortiz, who was a 35-year-old woman. She was arrested on the spot, and her bail sits at $10.2 million. But nobody knew why she committed such an act. Well, these videos show otherwise. In these videos, she's spiritually speaking a lot of crazy things about Rihanna. I'm not sure if she's having visions and using the devil against her. Watch these videos.
And Rihanna, when you die, God is taking me to my future. You want to kill me the way that Rihanna wants to kill me? Her spirit is in the spirit of the world, and it is very non-purposeful. Rihanna's over there, and she's there with the devil. They don't want me to get money. They don't want me to be successful. I made $3,000 one day on a day trade trading NVDA. And then Rihanna, she pops up in the spirit with the devil, and they're like, man, 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 man. And then they went over and they attacked a legal case. They went and attacked my lawyer, Jennifer Meister, and they took her spirit and her energy, and they were just right there. Like, I could see them vivid as day.
That's Satan. He just wants to keep something beautiful. Just like his Rihanna.
You guys need to wake up and don't give that girl any attention. They want to come over here and steal my thoughts.
What are your thoughts on this?
Songs that better be in the upcoming movie, The Backrooms. Hey guys, I'm gonna be honest, if we don't hear any of these songs that I'm gonna show you guys on the new Backrooms movie, it's gonna be a letdown. So let's start with the first song. The first one is Number by Temper Rocks. And if you listen to it, the song feels nostalgic, but also wrong, like a memory you can't fully remember. And that's exactly what the Backrooms is all about, you know what I'm saying, essentially. Next song that I want to see in the upcoming Backrooms movie is Libets Delayed by The Caretaker. This song is honestly terrifying in its own way, cause like, it just gives you goosebumps when you listen to it. I'm gonna be honest, this song feels like an old memory slowly falling apart, which I think is very perfect for the Backrooms movie. Next we got got Warm Nights, which sounds calm at first, almost comforting, but that's what I think makes this song creepy. Just imagine this, a scene in the Backrooms movie. Imagine a character finding like a quiet, normal place, and then this song starts playing, and then they realize they're not alone. You know what I'm saying? So like Warm Nights should definitely be in the Backrooms movie, and if it's not, I'm gonna low-key be disappointed. And lastly, we got the Fallen Down song. I'm gonna be honest, this song will probably not be in the Backrooms movie because this song is tied to the game Undertales, and I'm pretty sure they're strict with their like songs. But I'm not gonna lie, if they play this song in the Backrooms movie, 10 out of 10 movie right away without even like trying. So yeah, guys, those are the movies I'm hoping to see in the new Backrooms movie.
Hermione Granger has a boyfriend and it's not Ron Weasley. Allegedly, her boyfriend is a very, very, very wealthy Mexican businessman. I'm gonna butcher his name, sorry. It's Gonzalo Javier Balleriz? He looks a little scary in this photo, but they were at the airport, they were booed up. And I love this for Emma because she actually did an interview a little while back saying that she doesn't have kids, she's not married. Societal pressures have made women feel like they need to be married in a relationship by the time they're like in their late 20s. She's 35 years old now, so we're loving that she found love. She didn't really let the societal pressures get to her, especially when she was younger. I mean, I feel like this is the first time she's ever spotted with a lover in public. So we love this for her. Good for her.
Take notes for when you meet your kid's future spouse. Ashley's dad is a divorce lawyer, and he gave us a masterclass on how to interrogate. This is something called the read technique, and you can actually use this in real life. What he's doing is he starts out by asking easy and normal questions to see how Alex answers the truth and tells real, true stories. Then, as he's asking harder questions, questions that Alex would potentially be lying about the answer, he is able to tell that Alex is lying.
I drilled down on Alex a little bit. He's impressive, smart. I think he answered the questions that I asked him very well, almost too well. Honestly, he's written all over your body. I'm not saying he is a bad person, but I don't think honesty is his strength.
People who lie talk too much, and Alex yapped. He also never pauses to think about any of the answers to the questions he's being asked. And like, if I was being asked some of these questions, I would have to like think about my answer for a second. I would have to like think about how I wanted to reply before I replied. Even if I was just like word vomiting, it's like very detailed questions. Weird things that he would know off the top of his head.
Well, let me ask you this, Alex.
Oh, lay it on me. What do we got?
Okay, all right.
What do we got?
What have you learned about Ashley? What'd you study?
I was a communications major, then I went to finance right afterwards.
You studied finance or went into the field of
I went into the field of finance right after.
Take me through the last 5 years, where you've lived.
Chicago to Tampa. I did meet my father at 25 in Hong Kong.
How did that occur?
He left kind of before I was born. Started a second family in Australia, ended up in Hong Kong, married his translator, I started a third family there.
Were he and your mom married?
No, they never were.
How old were you when your mom remarried?
I was 2, I believe, at that time. Yeah, so
So your stepfather has been your dad for most of your life?
Yeah.
Who's your male role model? Your grandfather?
Absolutely.
How old did your grandfather live to be?
67.
Oh, my.
Yeah, my grandmother passed early as well.
How long were they married?
50 plus years, I believe it was probably 53 realistically. But
Oh,
the
it's
story
not
with my
been that
aunt,
long.
it was.
He was 60 what when he died?
No, 67. I was told a 50-year marriage from my aunt.
Okay.
I don't know the
Gold
specific one.
anniversary.
And she fell in love with his voice over the phone.
Oh,
and they started dating
your
after that. Exactly.
Are you making that up?
No.
Look at me right here. You making that up?
I got a text message from my
You look
aunt.
down and left.
I looked down right. You don't know what that
You
means.
look that way.
I looked at the steak.
No, you look that way.
Did I? All right, maybe not. That's what my aunt told me, to be honest with you.
So what makes you think you can settle down? You're tired of moving? You still in the finance field?
I'm not. I do day trading on the side a little bit.
What do you day trade?
The Australian dollar to the US dollar.
How many trades do you make a week?
5 good ones a day.
Do you use a broker or do you do it yourself?
I do it myself.
Do you have any licenses right now?
So they've expired on my end because I wasn't sure I was going to go back into finance. I want to get into crypto as well.
What's the price of Bitcoin today?
About 100 grand. I don't know at the moment.
You trade no other currency?
Not at the moment, no.
Did you vote for Trump?
I didn't vote, but I would have voted for Trump.
You cop out.
I wasn't here. I know it's a cop out. I'm absolutely conservative, though, without a doubt, and I'm happy that he won.
You're flashy.
Sure.
You're very polished. I'll give you that. But the rest of it, I don't know. Convince me that you're real.
I'm absolutely in love with your daughter.
That's not it.
No?
No.
What
That's
about
more like words.
He said, I'm going to be on Netflix for 5 minutes. I'm about to get 500 new clients. I think he needs to host the reunion. So hi, I'm Grace. Can I be your—
It's day 11, and Trump has just said that the war will be ending very soon. So, here's everything you need to know. Firstly, I'd take what Trump said with a little pinch of salt, because at the same time, Pete Hegseth is saying that we've only just begun, and Iran is vowing the opposite, an escalation, saying from now on, their missile attacks will only launch warheads weighing more than a ton. What Trump's war-ending soon comments did do, however, is aid in bringing the price of oil down from 120, which it's quickly spiked up to now sitting sitting around 90. Trump did then threaten Iran with death, fire, and fury if they stop the flow of oil. So a nice balance of we have no clue what's happening tomorrow. Iran has made a pretty stunning announcement saying that any Arab or European country that kicks an Israeli or American ambassador out of their country will be allowed to freely pass through the Strait of Hormuz starting tomorrow. Vietnam is now urging people to work from home due to fuel shortages because of the war. The EU's council president said that Russia is the only winner of this Middle East war. Speaking of which, the US spoke to Putin for the first time since this all broke out, and he reportedly presented Trump several proposals for ending the war with Iran. Fearing for their safety returning home, Australia have given 5 Iranian football players humanitarian visas after they refused to sing the national anthem during the Women's Asian Cup. As for the rest of their team, well, their bus heading to the airport was temporarily blocked by protesters pleading with women to stay. Also, large crowds have gathered across Iran to pledge allegiance to their new supreme leader, Mujtaba Khamenei. But he himself is yet to make an appearance. See you all on day 12.
So you're telling me that these urban explorers find a secret cave system in what looks like an abandoned well in the woods and find children's clothes on the inside of this? Now, y'all, that ain't all they find. It looks like this well may have collapsed on itself and exposed this system of tunnels. And these tunnels are obviously man-made. They look like they were dug out. But here are the children's clothes. They look almost brand new. They found a hat. They found this little pair of overalls. It looks like it belongs to a toddler. And then they capture this on video when they're showing us these different tunnels. Right here. Did you see it? Now they pan over and you can see what looks like a head coming out of the side of this tunnel. It's almost the same color as the walls, but it has bright red glowing eyes. And it just disappears into a wall. Now it makes me wonder if this thing has something to do with these children's clothes that they found in these tunnels. Now, when you slow it down and brighten it up, you can really see more of its facial features. You can kind of see its mouth. You can see its eyes glowing. There it is going into the wall, and then it almost turns into like a smoke. Now, these people obviously did not see it at the time. They left the cave system after 5 hours of exploring it. 5 hours after recording this thing. Now, obviously, this video raises way more questions than answers. They didn't see this until after they posted, by the way. Their viewers on TikTok pointed it out to them. If you want to go see the full video, go check it out on their page. But what is this thing? Why is there a cave system down here? And why are there children's clothes down here? What's y'all's thoughts on this one? Let me know.
Dubai streets are filled with abandoned pets like dogs, cats, and even rabbits as people are basically rushing to flee this escalating war in the Middle East. We're seeing truly heartbreaking pictures of dogs just stranded on streets or tied to poles with no owner in sight. One resident found a cat and 4 kittens just randomly dumped outside of her house in a crate with a note that said, "Kitten 4 and mama cat inside box. I'm traveling back to my country because of the situation going on here. I tried to call, but no one picked up my call, so I got to know your location. I'm so sorry for keeping in front of your gate." Thankfully, we've learned that the cats are in good health and they're actually up for fostering, but this problem is just getting worse since shelters are way past their capacity. Vets are actually reporting that so many people now are asking to get their healthy pets euthanized. And obviously, so much of this comes from people not wanting to pay for relocation costs or do all of this paperwork, but even people who do want to do this are having to leave their pets behind. There are actually reports of people who tried to leave the region through Oman, but weren't allowed to bring their pets across the border, and so they had to abandon them in the desert. And this is one of those unintended, underreported consequences of war everywhere. The Middle East, Ukraine, all over Europe during World War II, when Britain actually had to euthanize almost 1 million pets. But vets and animal rights groups are trying their best to save all of the animals that they can. And places like Dubai Municipality have even come up with AI smart devices to help track stray animals, known as Ehsan stations. And animal sanctuaries like Six Hounds are trying to spread the word, saying that if you're thinking of abandoning your pet, contact them because they can help find foster care or animal shelters instead. And we've tagged other organizations in the area that you can contact as well. The UAE is home to over 2 million pets, and they deserve safety and care just like we do. The News Girls will continue to cover the underreported effects of this war, so make sure to follow to stay in the loop.
Quick pause. If you're still watching, thank you so much. It means a lot. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe. But before we get to it, I need to know what video has messed with you the most. Let me know down below.
I'm very
Sometimes people think if a gas station is open all night, it means someone is always watching the place.
That's a mistake. If you stop at a 24-hour gas station late at night and notice the cashier isn't visible behind the counter, do not walk straight inside. First, stay near your car. Most people walk inside immediately to pay, but before you step through the door, look at the windows. But if the lights inside are on, but you can't see a cashier, customer, or movement anywhere, do not enter yet. Employees normally appear the moment the door opens. Second, listen carefully. If the door chime rings when you open it, but no one responds from the back room, do not walk deeper into the store. Most people call out, "Hello?" to get attention. That's how your position gets confirmed. Third, check your mirrors. Many gas stations have security mirrors in the corners of the ceiling. If you see movement in one of those mirrors, but nothing is visible when you turn your head, leave immediately. Do not walk towards the aisle. Do not walk towards the cooler. People who ignored this rule said the same thing. They realized too late that someone was already inside the store, standing somewhere the cameras couldn't see, waiting for the door to chime to tell them someone just walked in alone. Because when a gas station looks to open but no one is behind the counter, it usually means one thing: you weren't the first person to enter that store tonight.
When it comes to true crime, do you know what one single moment in time replays in my mind? I'd say probably once a week. What Paul Murdoch must have been thinking after his father shot him the first time, and then to watch his dad point the shotgun back up at his head and shoot again. You have this 22-year-old who has lived an insanely privileged life. And even during the trial, you don't hear about abuse within the family. In fact, it's quite the opposite. You hear about how much Alec Murdoch loved his family. And then Paul walks into that little feed room, and his father, the man he trusts most in the world, shoots him. But the bullet doesn't kill him. And then Paul looks over to see what the hell just happened, locks eyes with his father, who then raises the shotgun up at his head and pulls the trigger. Like, what a betrayal. And not to mention Maggie, hearing 2 gunshots, comes running out of the kennel to see her son's head literally taken off and her husband standing there with the gun. And she comprehended what was going on, which is when Alec Murdoch shot and killed her too.
If you think you come from a small town, you don't, unless you live here. It's literally sinking. There are only 2 stores in this town. This clearly is a history museum. It kind of looks like someone's house, like a front porch. There are no cars, only golf carts, bicycles, or you could walk. And the dialect of people who were born and raised on Tangier Island is crazy. Like, here's a video you can hear. Sound on. What's he saying?
She was behind the counter. She said, "It's a Lyle Jack." I said, "Who's that, Mom?"
I got counter, and who's that?
We have over top spots instead of Adam. These spots there, where they're at. Where are they at? Just outside the mud. They ain't no spots there.
I'm trying to understand.
Cut that off further, that crowd going out.
If we're talking among ourselves, we might form it.
So you'll see a lot of houses that are almost sinking. Like, you can see there's barely something like a structure under this house, and a lot of them kind of look like this. Like, if you look real close, it's like, whoa, that house is barely hanging on. And I do kind of love that there's no cars, but you either have to walk, take a bike, or a golf cart. This is located in the Chesapeake Bay, Virginia, and it honestly is beautiful. It really is. Like, I love the water, but there is no place in the world, well, maybe no place in the US that even comes close to this kind of like heritage. I mean, from my knowledge, there's literally only 2 stores, like one grocery store and then this museum, and that's it. Everyone knows everyone. It's literally like a town that you would see in a movie, which is insane. Would you go here? Like, would you go visit? Because I feel like I definitely would.
This clip shows the power of the family, even in creature critters. So this grizzle bear came, you can see, just coming to attack this woman moose who's super vulnerable, birthing a baby moose, but the man moose is having none of it. This is the husband, and it's saying, "Grizzle bear, get out of here," and it hits it with its antler horns, and that grizzle bear did learn its lesson. And this is just a beautiful clip that shows that a man's moose job, and a man everywhere's job, is to protect the women, especially when they're vulnerable. So I think it's beautiful, and I wish we saw more of this with humans.
Please tell me y'all didn't actually capture this in a photo, because if you did, you're done for. A group of sisters got together for a day out, spending some time in nature, and they took this photo. Now, I don't know if y'all noticed this, but look right here at their legs. Let me move my big head out of the way, but look right there. Do you see it? Now, do you see it? And no, this isn't a camera glitch. And no, there was no random dog without a freaking head at this get-together. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I was raised in the South, and I was taught that this is a bad omen. The spectral black dog is around you or in photos or anything like that. This means that something bad is going to happen. Now, this thing is translucent. It has no head. It has a black mist around it, which is also very concerning. And it looks like it may be attached to this sister right here, furthest to the right, or maybe the one right here in the middle. Really wish I could get more information on if anything happened to these two women, but I can say this. It for sure wasn't good. Something happened, and it for sure wasn't good. There's no way it didn't if this thing is in your photos. What do you guys think? And have y'all ever heard about the Black Dog Omen?
This middle school teacher has been identified thanks to what she did to a 7th grader. Meet Valerie Hodge, who works for Cobb County School District for McClure Middle School. She teaches English, and she's well known, but she's about to get a whole lot more well known thanks to what she did to a 7th grader she didn't even know. Valerie had just had a peaceful morning teaching English and had just finished her lunch, and she noticed a 7th grader in the cafeteria turning blue.
I thought I was gonna die. I just could not breathe, and I was wheezing.
Thanks to one of her first ever jobs being at a daycare, Valerie knew exactly what to do when she saw this 7th grader choking.
Didn't really even think, honestly. I just kind of reacted. I saw a student that was in trouble, and I asked if he needed help, and I just kind of went into action.
Meet Dalton, the 7th grader whose life was saved thanks to an English teacher.
He made the universal sign for choking, and I asked him, "Are you okay?" He shook his head no.
So she ran up and gave him the Heimlich, it was just scary. I felt like I was gonna live again. I had hope. I was like, okay, I'm gonna survive.
When Miss Hodges' actions got back to this 7th grader's mom, this is what she had to say.
I can't thank her enough. She took care of business and she didn't think twice. And I don't know what the outcome could have been. It could have been a tragic situation for our family. And I'll never be able to give her a large enough gift. I'll never be able to say enough words, but a situation like that can turn tragic in a second. And I'm grateful that she was there. She took care of my son and he was able to come home that afternoon from school.
Thanks to Miss Hodges' bravery and quick reaction, this 7th grader is not only alive and well, but he has said that she is now his favorite teacher, despite her having never taught him a day in his life.
We do what we do because we like to be part of a kid's life and make a difference.
Round of applause for the teacher. Seriously, round of applause. She deserves a raise. That is amazing for what she did. She deserves many awards. She saved that child's life. Good job.
Do y'all see what's happening around these airports, y'all, worldwide? I mean, every single airport is experiencing some type of situation. Look at Dubai.
What's going on?
That's what I'm trying to figure
What's
out.
happening?
I heard that they were evacuating the Kansas City airport.
Okay, they're evacuating Kansas City Airport. We were at the gate. They just told us everybody has to leave.
What's going on? Even the people on the tarmac had to turn around. Bro, where are the planes? Do y'all notice something? Where the hell are the planes? Why don't I see the planes on the ground? This right here was in Florida and Fort Lauderdale Airport. What is going on? What about that Nashville flight that had a bomb threat? Did y'all hear about that? The 737? Check this out, man. People had to put their heads down and their hands up so they can find the culprit. Here go the bomb squad coming through. Here we go. A United flight had to do an emergency landing at the Los Angeles airport just the other day, y'all. Bro, there's something happening in the air. They told us about it. Remember, leave the world behind? Look at this. Everybody is running. Bro, they're not telling us something. Remember the air traffic controllers? Bro, I don't care what y'all tell me, man. We're not in Kansas anymore. Y'all can feel the energy. This is exactly why this shit's happening in Kansas City. We are not in Kansas anymore. The whole energy has changed. I know y'all feel that, and I told y'all what's coming, man. Let me know down in the comments below, y'all. What's going up in the skies? The shift is here. Let's continue to get it. Peace out.
They posted private photos of Ariana Grande in her own home. So this person named Franco was somehow invited over to Ariana Grande's house to watch the show Drag Race. Well, let me tell you, this is the last invite Franco will ever get from Ariana. Because while he was over at her house, he decided to privately take and then post tons of photos of Ariana. Now, in all of these photos, Ariana is very clearly unaware that they are being taken of her. And before anyone claims otherwise, all of these photos are 100% real, as they were all taken and posted as live photos. Now, Franco posted these pictures thinking he was going to get some clout or something, but he got the complete opposite, as after people started seeing the post, Franco got some massive backlash. And then because of this backlash, he very ironically decided to private his account. So let me get this right, Franco. You can private your account so you can have some privacy, but when Ariana Grande invites you into her private residence, she can't get any privacy because you're taking pictures of her the whole time. I mean, given the circumstances, I don't think that you should be allowed to make your account private, Franco.
The internet is going crazy right now about what may have happened inside of this tunnel in New Mexico. So this tunnel is off of the 84 in New Mexico near Santa Fe, and it seems to have been referenced in the Epstein files. So as you can see here, there's the EFTA number in the bottom right-hand corner, and this appears to be an email sent by a potential survivor/victim to an officer, and this person seems to be describing an event that happened in the tunnel. So they say here, I was not a prostitute before meeting Mike Levine. I don't know who Mike is. It was he who forced me into it, threatening the life of my niece. If I had been in prostitution, he would have never had to do this. I did what he asked or forced me to do. I told him it hurt, but he didn't care. He had a mission and he accepted what he did to me as collateral damage. I understand I was an adult then, but wanted you to know that Ghislaine was procuring young girls before 1994. To me, she was the mastermind behind the scheme, and they basically talk about Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell trafficking this woman, doing terrible, terrible things to her, but she keeps referencing this tunnel. Right here, they state, there was an error in my last email. The tunnel off roadway 84 is on the left side of the road, 84, not right side, as I stated in the earlier email. The large turnout is nearby tunnel entrance and is also on the left side of 84. The tunnel is hiding in plain sight. And then down here, she also states, as you can see right here, M. Levine introducing me to Maxwell/Epstein was around the same time of the pictures I sent you, and him taking me to the tunnel. I feel it was all done to terrify me into submission. I appreciate you and others allowing me to purge what has been tormenting my life for nearly 40 years. I hope it helps you knowing she was doing these terrible things in the early 80s. So this seems to be an email ratting on Ghislaine Maxwell, but the internet is talking about what the hell happened in this tunnel. And obviously I'm curious as well. This seems to be something that terrified this victim, and yet the email before this is not present in the Epstein file. Nobody has been able to track down the message sent by this alleged victim/survivor, which would contain the allegation of what allegedly went down in that tunnel. However, people have been able to find the tunnel, or what they believe is the tunnel. And I was actually just in New Mexico last week. If I would have been there right now, I would have gone out here to check out, what potentially could be in this area or inside of the tunnel. But I do know that whatever allegedly happened here doesn't sound too good. Interestingly, also on the post that I found talking about this tunnel, there were a number of what seems to be bot accounts that were attacking the original poster. And a lot of people were commenting saying, wow, the bots really came out for this one. You're onto something. So it seems like this tunnel has some sort of importance, but we just don't know what that is. I'll keep you guys updated.
Have you ever felt eyes on the back of your head? I'm Charlie, and I talk about creepy photos that I find on Reddit. So this Reddit user posted a picture they took of their house. They were home alone at the time, and they went outside because the chickens were crying because they needed to get chicken fed. And that's when they felt that presence, that pressure in the back of their spine, that tingle going down. They knew something was wrong, and they felt like they were being watched. So they flipped around, and they snapped a picture of their home. And that's when they got a picture of this creepy face in the window staring at them. You see it's pale, it's got dark eyes. But the thing is, no one was home at the time. They were the only person there. It's super zoomed in, and you can see it. There's definitely somebody in the house. Are they alive? That is the real question. If you like this, check out our podcast, Believing the Bizarre, for more creepy stories.
If you get lost in the Amazon rainforest, you will not survive. It's beautiful, we get it, except there's something about the rainforest where people say that your footprints will be erased, removed, because it's so humid, so nothing really sticks in the ground. If you made a trail and then tried walking back, your footprints are gone. They also say that something about the Amazon jungle, the trees kind of morph in a sense, so nothing looks the same. Not only are the animals terrifying, this one creator was in the jungle and she talked about this little like branch stem thing, and that white part, if that goes into your bloodstream, you are done within 10 minutes. Like, you will not survive because that is poison. Then alongside that, when you get stung by bees or whatever other insects there are, if you try to like wash yourself in the water, there's piranhas, there's a lot of other animals you don't want to encounter. And you know how like when you're in the shower or a pool or a bath, your skin starts to prune? Yeah, everything's gonna start to prune, not just your fingers, because it's so humid there. It's like always wet. So from what people are saying, if you just go a little bit in the Amazon forest, you'll be okay. But if you go kind of deep in, you're done. You're done. I think the thing that blows my mind the most is how people say the trees just like morph. Like they move, they shift. They don't look the same as they did 10 minutes ago.
He warned us. Check this out.
If I ever shave my face again, you'll know.
Let's see.
It's not our world.
None
That's
of
the
this is
key.
real?
Nope.
So you're just passing
We don't
through.
matter. We don't matter. Then I watched everybody like talking 1,000 miles an hour up there, receiving their awards, and I was like, I'm dead.
People are already over the shit that happened with Jim Carrey, and it's sad, bro, because he was telling us that something is going on if I look different, if I act different, and he never gave a fuck about the award shows, and yet people are just over it, acting like nothing happened. I need to wake the fuck up, bro. Look at his eyes. They're green, bro.
Asked for it, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Did you know in the early 1900s there was a hospital in Memphis, Tennessee that had like a slew of baby kidnappings, all because of a woman named Georgia Tan, who was a social worker that was actually running like a black market baby ring kind of thing. And she convinced all of the childbirth nurses to target poor families and women that were just waking up from childbirth and tell them that their baby did not make it. And one day this woman named Josie, I believe, she comes out and she's going to the front desk to like sign the paperwork, and she finds another woman crying in the hallway. She's like, why are you crying? And she's like, my baby unalived. And then another woman and another woman, like it's like a slew of women, 7 different women, all babies unaliving on the same day. After a whole bunch of stuff happened, a whole bunch of investigating happened, come to find out, Georgia Tan was paying all of the nurses on like in the birthing ward to take these babies and give them to her, and she was going to sell them, okay, and give them a profit. Like, are we freaking joking? What? If I'm correct, I could be wrong on this part, but I'm pretty sure she was doing this from like 1920 to 1950. So who knows how many babies were stolen from their mothers at the hands of Georgia Tan. Absolutely insane. If you like to hyperfixate on things like in the middle of the night, you're going to love it here because I do too. As always, make sure you like and follow and comment down below what you think.
Sometimes people think if the dog starts suddenly staring at the corner of the room, it's just reacting to a sound you can't hear. That's the mistake. If you're home alone at night and your dog walks into a room and freezes while staring at the same spot on the wall, do not walk over to see what it is. Stop where you are and watch the dog first, because dogs usually react in a very specific way. First, listen to the breathing. If your dog stops wagging its tail and begins breathing slowly through its nose without making a sound, do not call its name. Most people try to get their dog's attention. That's when the dog refuses to look away. Second, watch the ears. If the dog ears slowly lower, but its eyes never leave that corner, do not step closer into that part of the room. People who ignore this rule said the same thing later. The dog didn't bark. It backed away slowly without ever breaking eye contact. Third, leave the room. Do not stand where the dog was looking. Do not shine a flashlight into the corner. If the dog suddenly whines the moment you step into the hallway, do not go back, because dogs notice movement long before people do. But if a dog stares at the same empty spot and refuses to move, it usually means something was standing there long before you walked in. And the reason your dog won't stop staring is because it's waiting to see.
UK is now facing an unprecedented outbreak according to health officials. And to make it even more concerning,
Outbreak?
those who have died and are currently most at risk from this outbreak are students. So here's what's going on. On Sunday, UK health officials announced that there was a serious outbreak of meningitis in the city of Canterbury, which they have now declared a national incident. Meningitis causes inflammation of the protective membranes that surround the brain and spinal cord, and its side effects includes things like sudden high fever, stiff neck, severe headache, nausea, vomiting, sensitivity to light, etc. Now, this recent outbreak in particular is being described by health officials as unprecedented due to its explosive nature, and the Times even described it as as the worst meningitis outbreak in a generation. So far, 2 people have died who were only 18 and 21, and 13 more are in hospital. And the majority of other cases so far have all been linked back to what authorities believe was its place of origin, a nightclub in Canterbury called Chemistry. They describe this as a super spreader event because meningitis can be passed through kissing, sharing vapes, or drinks. Now you're probably wondering why the hell this is happening, because meningitis has been in the UK for decades. Well, there's actually multiple strains. For example, Men C was vaccinated against in 1999 and cases dropped by about 96%. And interestingly, vaccinations for this strain were only introduced by the NHS for children who were born after 2015. Meaning if you were older than 11 or 12, which is the majority of the UK population, you will likely not have this vaccination. And you know, with Men B having a concerning death rate of 1 in 10, the University of Kent have cancelled their exams and huge long queues can be seen lining up for antibiotics. The UK's Deputy Chief Medical Officer said that it was the quickest growing outbreak he had ever seen in his entire career. And while contracting meningitis is very serious, the UK Secretary is saying that the risk of it spreading nationally is very low. But of course, as this situation develops, I'll keep...
Does the government have agents to cause traffic jams?
So whole time,
Hear them out.
rush hour traffic is not a coincidence. Y'all motherfuckers got agents acting as drivers to fuck the traffic up at a certain time every day. So when we get home, we tired and we irritated, and we just want to take it down. So now we not thinking about overthrowing the higher ups.
It makes sense.
Does it?
None of this shit is an accident. Everything is planned.
Stay weird.
JP Morgan was the owner of the Titanic, and he bailed out of the voyage last minute. 2 really important people died on that trip. John Astor was the richest man in the world at the time, and Benjamin Guggenheim was a giant heir to the mining industry that just boomed, okay? They strongly opposed the Federal Reserve because they were like, what do you mean we're going to tie money to money? We can't tie money to paper agreements. That's circular. That doesn't make sense. Either way, they died. And then Woodrow Wilson signed the Federal Reserve Act, and now money is fugazi, basically. But we all agree that it means something. Anyways, this is my driver, and that is the Federal Reserve Act. There's a reason that so many presidents fought against it and wanted it to be tied to something real, tangible, gold, silver, even like barrels of oil it could have been tied to. But no, we have to be the New World Order, don't we?
This video was sent in by a viewer and honestly is one of the most terrifying things I've ever seen. Take a look.
What am I looking at here? What is that back there? It's red. With eyes. What is that?
Several viewers have said this resembles La Llorona, but it's difficult to tell as we're unsure where the video comes from. Whatever this being is, it's obviously aware of the person recording and seems very upset. Honestly, I don't know what this is, but it's gonna give me nightmares tonight. I'd love to know what you guys think it might be down below in the comments.
Imagine thinking you're losing your mind because your ex keeps showing up everywhere you are. Then you get out of your car one day and you shut the door really hard and then you hear something rattling around.
Yo, I fucking found it. I fucking found it. It's right there.
And it turns out she's not crazy, her ex-boyfriend is. That little thing that you see wedged underneath her rearview mirror is an AirTag. In fact, it's the next generation AirTag that's even smaller than the last generation. Which means the reason her ex has been turning up everywhere she's at is because he's been tracking her against her knowledge. Have you ever been driving and almost hit a deer? Well, this girl did hit a deer and it caused some damage to her car, and this is what she found.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person.
That's right, that is another tracking device found by another girl who had no idea it was there. This particular tracking device is called a tile. Whoever hid this in her car literally used the wiring within the panels, which not only made it nearly impossible to find, but it wasn't going anywhere. So who would even think to do this to track somebody? Crazy people, and people who watch ads like this.
Your girl says she's just out with friends every night. You better slap one of these on her
car. No, it is not an AirTag. It's a real GPS track. And unlike AirTags, this thing doesn't make a sound, doesn't send alerts. You will never know it's there.
I will not be tagging the kind of GPS this is, because at this point, I feel like all of this should be extremely illegal. Just the person who is making this post telling men to track their girlfriends, I feel like they should be arrested. Because nothing about this or this is okay.
People are not scared enough of
That's
the
super
ocean, and I'm
weird.
here to fix that. Welcome back to another episode of Why I Stay on Land, where I give you some self-inflicted thalassophobia right before bed. Do y'all see how long this chain is going? It's gonna keep going. It's gonna keep going. The ocean is so freaking deep. It's literally otherworldly at this point, and the fact, like, I don't think people understand this. The fact that we don't know what is down there, and it's more water than there is land on Earth, is yo, that's enough to make me poop myself. In fact, I think I did. I always say sea gigantism is real, and this is like the most minute of problems in the ocean, but did you guys know that giant isopods can get to the size of a small dog? An isopod, yeah. So there are lakes in the ocean. They're called brine pools, and if you even put your little toesy in there, you instantly die. They're that toxic. There are over 11 million deadly viruses in a strain of water. And also, there is a crack in the ocean floor stretching 400,000 miles where it goes deeper. How much deeper can it go? How much deeper? I don't know. Y'all, I have a lot more facts in me. I'm literally, this is probably part 23 at this point. I'm going to keep it going. I'm going to keep it going until every single person poops theirself as much as I poop myself when I think about the deep sea. As always, y'all, make sure you like and follow, and sweet dreams.
Okay, hold on a second. Are we aware that tomorrow is one of the most significant days in Iranian history? March 20th is the Persian New Year. It's the most sacred day in Iranian civilization, and it falls on day 21 of an active war. They just attacked Qatar's natural gas plant, the biggest one in the world. Mojtaba Khamenei was named Supreme Leader 12 days ago. He has released 0 videos, 0 photos, and 0 voice recordings. Trump said on television he heard Mojtaba is not alive. Every Iranian Supreme Leader gives a Nowruz speech. It is mandatory, and tomorrow is that test. There is no neutral outcome tomorrow. So with all this going on, what do you think is going to happen tomorrow? Because we also know some of the biggest events happen on a Friday. Biggest news releases, some of the most significant events in modern history happen on a Friday. And that's only because, well, actually, I'll leave it to you to guess in the comments why you think a lot of stuff kicks off on Friday. But my thoughts and prayers are with world peace and that this doesn't escalate into a global conflict like many people are kind of predicting. Now, we're going to talk more about this on my Rumble live stream channel, which is free speech, free to download, and free to watch. If you want to tune in, comment the word Rumble below and check your DMs, because this is popping off and I can't say everything on here.
So did y'all know that Jeepers Creepers was based on a true story, or at least inspired by a true story? So you know how in the opening we see Trish and Derry driving on his road, and then eventually they see the bodies being thrown down a chute by an old church. So the same thing happened, but this time, from my knowledge, it was a couple, but some people say they were siblings, I don't know. But the true story basically is, on Easter Sunday in 1990, Dennis Depew, this guy right here, ended up crashing out on his wife because they was going through like a divorce or whatever. And he ended up like pushing her down some stairs in front of their kid, and then like literally crashed out on her and just like beat her to the point she was unalived in front of the kids. The kids started tripping out, like, what's going on? Like, he was trying to manipulate them. Like, I'm gonna just take her to the hospital. I'm sorry, we just had a little issue. But they still like, nah, what are you doing to our mom? Instead of taking her to the hospital, he ended up putting her in the car while she's still hanging on for dear life, barely moving. He ended up taking her to like this side road, pew-pewing her in the head. And then once he did that, he continued driving to the schoolhouse, but he ended up passing a couple or some siblings, Trish and Derry basically. And they got a little curious because they saw how reckless he was driving. And they ended up following him and actually catching him dumping his wife Marilyn down a chute with some bloody sheet. And this happened in Michigan, by the way. That is actually crazy, y'all. So it was basically Jeepers Creepers. So this story was the opening of Jeepers Creepers. They definitely got it from this Dennis Depew story because it's literally like beat for beat. Only difference is they had some kids and they're witnessing everything that happened. A lot of these horror movies, y'all, actually be inspired by true stories or get something from it. I mean, like, look at Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Ed Gein. Let me know if y'all want me to keep doing these and we can keep continuing. Let me know in the comments.
One piece of propaganda that I will not fall for is that pizza is bad for you. You cannot tell me that a food made out of these ingredients is damaging to my health. Frozen pizza, sure. Fresh pizza, absolutely not.
Afro Man wins the lawsuit brought against him by 7 Ohio sheriff deputies. After a 2-day trial, he has been found not guilty. After being cheered on by the crowd waiting for him outside of the courtroom,
Yeah! Power to the people! Yeah!
he explained that he isn't paying anyone money. 7 deputies who filed this lawsuit against him wanting $4 million, all stemming from the 2022 raid on Afro Man's house after there were allegations of kidnapping and him having a dungeon. We're talking about the security footage where multiple officers were seen rummaging through his clothes and his shoe collection. Their search warrant was related to a kidnapping and a dungeon. Record label explaining this man doesn't even have a basement. How could he have a dungeon? Besides the cash they found inside his home and in the pockets of his suits, they also found a lemon pound cake. It is that very lemon pound cake, seen with an officer, weapon drawn, pausing to then talk about the pound cake, gave these deputies all the ammunition they thought they needed to then sue the man they had just raided. Because Afro Man not only made a song about this incident, he shared actual footage of the raid. His officers claimed that it defamed them, showing images of them doing their job raiding his house. He wanted $4 million in compensation. Among these 7 officers, some took the stand and cried, claiming that it caused them embarrassment and loss of reputation. While the ex-wife of one of these deputies took the stand in defense of Afro Man and said, "Guys, this is just a song. No one takes this seriously." This case not only went to trial, but it lasted 2 days. In the end, Afro Man was found not guilty of all charges. The officers expecting $1 million payday won't see a dime from Afro Man. When it comes to getting paid, Afro Man is still waiting for the remainder of his cash seen on body cam footage being taken from these officers from his home to be returned to him.
Oh, wow.
This video
That's
came out
crazy. It took
14 years
money
ago,
from him.
showcasing the CIA's ability to track and trace and surveil. This is before Palantir. Could you imagine how advanced it is now? Especially considering the word on the street is that every year that we advance technologically in public, like decades worth of advancement happens behind the scenes. I think some of their new surveillance tech involves frequencies. And it's amazing how much surveillance they can have, yet there's still so many bad guys out there, and in fact, rings and organizations of them. Crazy that they can't stop them. Now, it's amazing the money they'll invest in strange things which don't help us at all, while the food and water supply is getting more and more polluted. I think there's never been a more important time to be of sound mind and sound body during this pinnacle moment in human history. And right now, Chalk is giving away free $100 bags of the organic heirloom cacao from Bolivia, the chocolate powder, which is super detoxing and delicious. And if you combine that with the hot water purified shilajit, you're getting some of the most potent adaptogenic compounds in the natural world. Comment free below and check your DMs for details.
Let's take a quick pause. If you're still watching, thank you. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. That was it. Let's get back into it.
I need y'all's honest opinion on this one. Is this an actual photo of a familiar spirit? This photo was taken in the 50s. Now this man is posing here with his dog, but just look next to him. There is a spirit standing next to him that almost looks like it's made of light and clouds. Now here's the kicker. Nobody recognized this spirit. It's not a grandparent. It's not a lost loved one. The man in the photo actually spoke up about this and said he believes that this is the spirit of his dog, or at least the spirit attached to his dog. Now, it's not a very uncommon thing to believe that spirits can attach themselves to animals or become an animal for a specific person. It's called a familiar. Some people will even call them soul animals. It's essentially an animal that you feel more attached to than you would another pet. And it almost feels like this animal is a person and they're meant to be your animal. Like a lot of people will say that they have an unbound connection to a certain animal that they have when they don't to the other animals that they have. And that's when the familiar aspect of this comes into play, because familiars are supposed to be there not only as your companion, but there to guide you through life and specific points in your life. And maybe the man in the photo is right, and this is the spirit of his familiar. The man even said that this particular spirit, an older lady, seems almost whimsical in the way she looks and appears. And it seems just like his dog's personality and how he looks at his dog. But what do you guys think? Do you think this is an apparition of a familiar? Or what do you think's going on here? Let me know.
The internet's divided at the moment whether or not this was actually Epstein seen just cruising the highway in his drop top. You know what I mean? Like, how brazen do you have to be? But a lot of people are saying, like, is it AI? Is it not AI? Is he so comfortable to do it because he knows that everyone would think it's AI even if he did? It's a crazy world we live in, that we can look at footage this clear and just go, oh, I can't believe it.
Iran has just struck what looks to be a massive oil refinery in Haifa, Israel. And as you clearly see right here, this is also a nuclear facility, and we don't really know what they hit because the Israeli censorship is taking over. Israeli media is now telling all residents in Haifa to go indoors, stay low, and to try not to breathe the air outside. Because in just 30 minutes after the strike, everything was covered in a cloud of smoke. This is in response to the Americans and Israelis bombing all of Iran's oil refineries, including Karg Island, which houses most of Iran's oil. The Israelis did it first, the Iranians were just reacting.
Do you think that these bandits should be arrested and thrown into prison jails? So these are the broken back bandits is what they call themselves, and they are ravaging northern Texas and having a good time, but the authorities are saying we need to capture them ASAP. The leader there's name is James Jesse, and what he says is cowboys should have never gone away and robbers should have never gone away from old Western times. So we're coming back, but instead of robbing banks and railroads, we're robbing big corporations, and so they'll go after the oil companies or the oligarchs in Texas, and with their profits they give a lot of it to the people of Texas, the poor people. So you can call them a little Robin Hood-esque. You can see here this one, he's saving a creature critter. He said that this was a farm animal that they felt bad for, and so they do good as well because he slung it across and he said they found a new adoptive home for it. But a lot of people are calling for them to be arrested and tried, and so they can put an end to it. But I'm curious if you're a supporter or not a supporter.
Guys, tell me what's more concerning. The fact that there are footprints at this person's doorstep in the nick of the snow, a snowstorm in South Dakota, or the fact that the footprints, one goes this way and the other goes that way. Whose feet does that? Whose human feet does that? Also, if it's a human, why don't they have boots on? So again, there was a snowstorm in South Dakota, and when you look at all these footprints, they go opposite ways. Like they're totally in like a 180 angle towards each other. So this person saw that the footprints came up to their door. I guess they didn't have a ring camera, or like they didn't see what or who it was, but it's a snowstorm. So why is it footprints? Like, it's not even like it looks like this person had socks on, but the lady whose doorstep it was at, she is filming to see how far the footprints go, and then the video's kind of long, but long story short, when she gets to the end of the trail, it just vanishes. You don't see any more of the footprints, and you can see here like she's still filming, and then it also turns into one footprint as well. And we're all like, what is going on? This is actually wild. So I would suggest like maybe get a camera, or just don't go outside.
A woman agrees to pet sit for a family member, but whenever she gets to the house, this is what is waiting for her. Locked box with an oddly placed smiley face cut out, and when you look at it, there's eyes looking back at her through the eye sockets, but it looks like they're pointing in different directions. Not only would this immediately be a no for me, but she's supposed to be pet sitting for an entire week. Not only is she expected to feed whatever this is, she's supposed to come back multiple days and feed it. I don't know if this is going to make anyone feel better, but this locked box with two weird eyes staring back at her is also attached to a cage. As a pet owner and animal lover in general, I have to admit, I am very scared looking at this. I really wish I could give you a full breakdown on what we are witnessing that this girl is expected to pet sit and keep alive for a full week. And I'm sure this pet, whatever it actually is lovely, but it is a very good reminder to never volunteer to pet sit unless you 100% know what the pet is you are about to go pet sit. I cannot find this girl's original account where she shared her pet sitting this creature. Honestly, maybe it's for the best. Will say upon zooming in, this does kind of look like there's feathers. I'm assuming this is one bird, maybe this is a second bird. Just making assumptions so that I can sleep soundly tonight.
Are we currently under attack from outer space and no one's telling us about it? And why do I say that? Because a meteor struck northeast Ohio and there was no warning from NASA. And if you're unfamiliar with what I'm talking about, a meteor traveling the speed of over 45,000 miles per hour struck Ohio.
What?
The meteor was also
Outbreak.
captured on surveillance video like this right here. And when it hit the ground, it was so loud, it created a sonic boom that was heard in Pennsylvania, Kentucky, and even Virginia. And keep it in the back of your mind, that meteor crashed in Ohio, and it was over 7 tons. Just take a look at the size of the debris field from where the impact occurred. And residents were quick to post photos of some of the pieces of the meteor that they found spread across their property. So take a look at the size of this thing, the speed of this thing, as it was barreling straight for Earth. And NASA didn't know anything about it, but NASA claims they know about everything except this. And I know a lot of people are going to say that, meteors hit the Earth all the time, but think about it. That big, that fast? And once again, this meteor was traveling at 45,000 miles per hour. We've never seen anything like that. And we didn't get any kind of warning that this was coming. And it happened fast and quick. And the debris field is large. And as you can see from here, people are posting images all over social media. So my question to you is, what do you think is actually going on? Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. And as always, I'd love to hear from you.
Okay, this is one of the most shocking subjects I have ever stumbled upon. And I've had some pretty out there posts.
What?
Did you know that dolphins are one of the only animals in the world that it is illegal to interact with outside of approved facilities like SeaWorld? And did you know that there is an ancient practice known as dolphin-assisted births? So there was a Russian man. He was a male midwife, if you knew that's a thing. He was a mid-husband, and he would help women deliver babies in the ocean. And interestingly, he noted a phenomenon where dolphins would be attracted to pregnant women. They would swim up to them, and they would start going in circles around these pregnant women and doing their sonar thing out of their mouth directing it at the pregnant woman's stomach. Now, there's all kinds of ancient folklore about dolphins being advanced beings. They have more folds in their brain, which means this is not how you, basically, you don't just tell someone's intelligence by the size of their brain. Otherwise, birds would be stupid, even though we know birds are very smart despite having a small brain. What else indicates the intelligence of an animal is the amount of folds in their brain. And each fold basically multiplies the amount of potential neural pathways and neural connections, and it can make them way smarter. Well, dolphins have a lot of folds in their brains. They may be way more intelligent than we even know. Now, here's where it's crazy. There used to be a dolphin-assisted birthing center in Hawaii where people flew from all over the world. This happened in the early 2000s up until about 2013 when something happened. And it's not what you think. And women would go and give birth with dolphins in the ocean. And they said to have painless births, faster births. And they tracked the children who were born from these mothers, and they exhibited abnormal capabilities, mentally enhanced mental function into their older ages. Now, some people think it's something to do with the frequency that the dolphin is emitting at the unborn fetus, and then it comes out, and it's maybe done something with DNA. Now, dolphin-assisted birth in Hawaii is a niche practice involving a pregnant person swimming, a pregnant woman, I think is the proper terminology, swimming with a pod of dolphins. They actually called it dolphin-assisted therapy, DAT, but it lacks credible scientific backing, and this is where it gets crazy. In 2013 and 2015, a bunch of smear campaigns came out against this practice. How effing silly is it to give birth in the water with dolphins? And New York Times roasting people who have ever thought of or even fathomed doing this because it's so dangerous. Meanwhile, we know that infant, let's just say it's statistically not very safe to give birth in a hospital if you look at the actual statistics of unfortunate things happening. And they went and shut down the birthing center. Even though people were freely, voluntarily going to it, that wasn't enough. It violated something, and you're not allowed to do it anymore. Now, this is an anomaly. I don't even know if this is allowed anymore. This picture was taken probably 7-8 years ago. But dolphin-assisted births. We're going to do a extreme deep dive into dolphins, the ancient stories about them, what they may be harboring in their minds that we can tap into if we calibrate our consciousnesses, and a whole...
What happened to Jeffrey Epstein? There are so many pictures of Epstein when he was younger that I've found in the files. And I know that he's like one of the worst people of all time, but I mean, he seems to have been relatively normal when he was a younger guy, a younger kid. And I know that this doesn't exactly scream normal, but I mean, I don't know. It was at around this time in Epstein's life, according to all researchers, when something happened. When Epstein was, I don't know if you want to call it recruited or what, but brought into the world of intelligence, of blackmail gathering, according to people like Whitney Webb, of arms trafficking, like selling weapons. And yeah, I mean, it's just always weird to see these young pictures of Epstein because he's like the world's supervillain right now, but in a lot of these photos from his youth, he looks pretty normal. Like him going on ski trips. I mean, he definitely looks creepy in almost every picture taken of him. Like, he's got such a creepy expression. But, you know, just kind of like an average dude back then. So what exactly happened? I think that is one of the things that needs to be focused on by investigators at this point. in order to really try and get to the bottom of the Epstein enigma, because we have theories and people like Whitney Webb have provided evidence, but I mean, there's still so much more that we could.
This woman survived a Rothschild hunting party.
What's that? Oh, somebody just came out talking about how when they were a child
That's
that
the
they
woman.
survived a Rothschild hunting party. What? Tell me more! Yeah, this woman came out talking about when she was a child, she was able to survive a hunting party done by the Rothschilds. She said what happened is she was taken away as a young child and she was put in a cage underground until the hunt began. They would wait till particular days and then they would let these children out of their cages and then they would tell them to go ahead and run and hide whilst the certain people surrounded the area, the perimeter, and then started their hunt. She said it was super dark when they let him out, and when she was able to run, she actually found a tree and scaled it up high enough to where she wasn't able to be seen. And she stayed there for quite some time until this supposed hunting diminished. She was then climbed down from the tree and was able to leave the premises, thus surviving the incident.
So I was tagging this video of what looks to be a family at a playground late at night. Apparently, like, the dad is just filming the daughter and they're just like having a good time together. When he looks out into the distance, he sees something like hiding behind a tree. He thinks that his eyes are like playing tricks on him, so he keeps pointing the camera over to like the tree line, trying to figure out like what is it that's behind it. He continues to like taunt it and ask for it to show itself, which is something you should never do. Like, if you feel like you're coming in contact with something that's like paranormal or spiritual, you shouldn't taunt it. You shouldn't ask for it to show itself. Well, at the end of the video, after he continues to like point the camera in that direction, I'll just show you guys the video.
¡Lujo! ¡Asómate!
I just want to start off strong by saying that playgrounds are extremely haunted, especially at night. Late at night, playgrounds come in contact with so many different energies during the day. Any place that comes into contact with a lot of energies, like the mall, playgrounds, churches, like places where like large group of people congregate, they are always going to be haunted, especially at night. Not to mention, like, this playground was, wherever it was, is like right near the woods, and it just looks very secluded and like alone. I mean, I get tagged in a lot of videos, and a lot of the times I'll watch the videos and I'll just be like, okay, no, that's obviously not, that's stage. This one, I 100% believe that it's real.
Something is happening right now, and it's literally on the brink of happening a lot more and on a bigger scale. This is the Philadelphia airport this morning, and a bunch of TSA checkpoints are closed down due to staffing issues because of the ongoing partial government shutdown. But do you find it at all interesting that that's happening at the same time that other airlines are getting closed because of fuel shortages and because of what's going on in the Middle East? And according to the Times, airlines will expect cancellations next month due to rationing of jet fuel from the crisis in the Strait of Hormuz. And this is coming right from the U.S. Transportation Secretary, who says if a partial government shutdown continues, small airports will shut down, which will put more pressure on the big airports because of dwindling fuel or fuel rations, if it comes to that, and TSA not having enough staff because of the shutdown. This is like the perfect storm for a Shiza storm. And does this remind you of anything? Airlines canceled stay home safe fuel instead of stay home safe lives. And in Vietnam, oil prices jumped 40% overnight. This is getting a little bit hairy. What do you think is coming around the corner next? Now, we're going to be discussing more about this on my Rumble livestream channel because there's a lot more I wish I could say but can't hear. If you want to tune in, comment the word Rumble below and check your DMs. Once you get the link, make an account, follow me there, and turn on live notifications so you know when I'm...
Guys, this is not good. This is a doomsday fish, and we're not supposed to see it, especially not on the sand. This fish only comes to the surface when people are in danger, basically. They saw it before the tsunami in Japan, and this fish really is supposed to be deep, 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 deep in the sea. So in 2011, before the Fukushima tsunami and earthquake, there was about like 20 of these fish washed up on the shore before that happened. And then it happened again in 2019 in Japan, and then, yeah, another earthquake happened. This is a video recently in Mexico, and the oarfish came up to the shore. That is terrifying. That fish is not cute. Although the tourists did save it, I wouldn't even want to touch that thing, but although they did save the fish, most likely it's probably not going to survive because it's really in like the shallow end. It already washed up to the shore, and this fish is known to go like deep, deep, deep into the ocean. But I mean, props to the tourists for touching the fish and then like pushing it back in the ocean. You can see it's so long that there's a lot of people pushing it back into the ocean. The props to them, but I probably did not survive overall. And again, this is called the doomsday fish, and this was washed up in Mexico.
For everyone talking about this man, all the things we are just now finding out he's been doing to women and children for decades with his rich and powerful friends, we need to recognize that there have been other Jeffreys before this Jeffrey. Like this Jeffrey. Because what we are learning now is that all of the things that Hefner had been doing publicly, him and his friends have also apparently been doing much worse behind closed doors. And yes, we are even talking about with children. Now that Hefner's wife is coming forward with what she was finding after her husband died, it is showing a far darker world behind the scenes that people have been whispering about for years. Now a lot of those children who were a part of it are now adults and realize they were his victims. Talking some of this stuff dating back before the 60s and going into the 2000s. This particular group of negatives being a very obvious child, proving that Playboy not only had children, they were also taking photos of those children. For a lot of these kids who were victims by one of the earlier versions of Jeffrey, children simply thought that they were playing dress up, completely unaware of what was actually happening. Even the public in general being completely oblivious to what this man was doing, the people closest to him either turning a blind eye or claiming they knew nothing about it. Hefner had hired secretaries who basically worked as his historians to keep meticulous scrapbooks records so that he could show his friends and go back and look over everything whenever he wanted. That anytime he wanted, he could go back and flip through these pictures, these magazines, these videos, including ones where there are children involved and non-consenting adults.
Have you heard about Jeremy the dolphin who has swam from Santa Monica in a river stream all the way through Nevada and has now just made it to Utah Lake in Utah? And this is him doing some trick spin turns in Utah Lake, showing that he's excited. This is where he started, and he went up through the Sierra Nevadas, and now he's at Utah Lake. And the sign lists are in a tizzy because they're like, this is Utah Lake back here. It's a beautifuler lake. But they're like, where is Jeremy headed? Some say he's headed to the Great Salt Lake. Others are like, we think he might be going to Lake Michigan, or maybe he's trying to get to the Atlantic Ocean or to Florida to warmer waters. They've never observed dolphins who have gone so far inland, and they're wondering how he's going to do with the lack of salinity in the water. But he's been eating and munch treating on trout and having a good time, and I'll keep you updated as we track his travels.
See Jeffrey Epstein at the Knicks game? What?
You at Knicks game?
Right before he died. 2018. It was so crazy because nobody noticed this before. He was right in the middle, beside the sports announcers.
Yeah.
With two girls beside him.
Whoa.
Did you ever see that?
Nah, I've never seen that
And
before.
then in the files, it says he has Woody's tickets. He'll be at the game.
Who's Woody?
Woody Allen. There was pictures of Woody Allen in the same seat. So Jeffrey Epstein went to that game.
Traded seats with him or something.
Yeah,
Woody's seat.
wow. Yeah, this is right before he died. He's like, let me go see a next game.
He saw it at the Mecca too, bro.
I know. This guy was everywhere, Don. And no one was questioning him.
Yeah, yo, nobody noticed it until like after.
After, yeah.
Okay, so Ben Stiller was spotted in a grocery store launching a new soda called Stiller. But what if I told you there's a completely different reason that he's doing this than many people may think? What if the real reason that, and Tom Hanks too, is selling a new coffee, and Ben Stiller is selling pop, is because in the recent release of documents, these people are named a whole bunch. If you know anything about SEO, search engine optimization, now if you type in Ben Stiller, you might not see that new information. Instead, you'll see his new soda company. Same thing with Tom Hanks. You type in Tom Hanks' name, you previously may have seen some information related to the documents that came out. Instead, you're going to see his new coffee business. So it's a new way to surge them into the public eye and get them on the news feeds and the search results. But instead of for the documents, it's instead for their brands. This does actually sound like a pretty convenient way to do that without, I don't know, affecting, Google, getting into the inner workings of Google and tweaking things around. Side note, by the way, I would not consume any product endorsed by literally any celebrity. A-listers anyway, like major movies, like there's a way you get that famous into that club. We're not in it. Now, I will say, side note, you do not want to be consuming soda or most conventional coffee anyway. Conventional coffee, of course, is sprayed with pesticides and usually is moldy. You got to get certified organic, ideally mold-free. Sodas, just stay away from. It's GMO corn syrup, who knows? And it's also plastic inside of the can. So don't waste your money on that kind of stuff when you can instead supercharge your vitality with natural adaptogens like Chalk's Chalk Lip Powder, which they're giving away for free today. $100 value, organic heirloom cacao from Bolivia, massively stimulates stem cell production, super detoxing and delicious. And if you combine that with the hot water purified Shilajit, you're getting some of the most potent superfoods in the natural world. Comment free below and check your DMs for details.
A group of 60 animal rights activists rescued 23 beagles from a research and commercial breeding facility called Ridgeland Farms in Wisconsin over the weekend. The group of activists, which included former Baywatch actress Alexandra Paul, cut through a chain link fence and then busted open door locks and windows to rescue these dogs. And this was well orchestrated. 60 volunteers, getaway vans, and safe homes were lined up ready to help until the cops were called, arrested 20 of the activists, and returned all but 23 of the dogs. Those 23 dogs are now safe though. Watch this video of the volunteers, some of whom traveled across the United States to participate in.
Oh. Keep in Red's hands. Keep in Red's hands if you can. Keep in Red's hands.
Take a dog. Take a dog.
You can go.
Okay.
We're with you. First caution. Come forward. Didn't need to come.
Theories about how Aunt Gladys became a witch. Nobody quite knows how she got all of her powers, but the prequel called Gladys that's about to come out is going to reveal all of our questions. Let me know what you think she is based on these theories. The first idea is that Gladys used to be a human and then she got this deadly disease. In order to stay alive, she turned to dark magic and started feeding on others, kind of like a vampire or a parasite. Another idea is that Gladys might not be human at all. She could be some kind of ancient evil or strange creature that just looks human. Her weird behavior and her odd, mismatched appearance kind of hints at this. In this theory, the aunt persona she has is a mask that she wears to appear normal. A very common idea that people have is that Gladys was once trapped like Alex. She was controlled by this sick tree or fungus, and she's now driven by this parasite-like force. Like, you know that kind of fungus that latches onto animals and other, like, plants and infects it and sucks the life out of it? She's like that, but she's a person. And this force makes her spread it all to other people. Gladys might also be a witch who's connected to traditional or Celtic blood magic. She uses items like a blackthorn bush to create human weapons, and in turn, they make her young and powerful. Back when they were making the film Weapons, Amy Madigan was actually given 2 backstory options for her character. The director, Zach Kreger, says he doesn't know which one she picked, but I do think whatever she picked might be influencing how they write the next film. All will be revealed in time. Follow.
How did this woman cut something in half and look back and it was together again?
In this video, you can see me grabbing a lemon, right? I cut it in half, and then I cut it in half once more, right there. You can see me cut it, right? I go get a bag. Okay, I grab the bag, I go back for the lemon, and I grab the lemon, and I touch it, and I'm like, why is it not cut in half? And my face, I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm like inspecting it, I take it out of the bag, I grab this lemon, trying to see if I cut that one. I recut the lemon because the lemon wasn't cut anymore.
Hey, weird.
I'm freaking out.